back after a long hiatus, ladies and gentlemen. This is the first real virtual episode with me and him not in the same room. Episode of the Trying to Be Grown podcast. I am your host, Damani Carter, and in the, of course, striped shirt is my esteemed co-host, Mr. Byron Thomas Keaton. Byron, how you doing?
Hey, first of all, don't be throwing out my middle name out here for everybody, bro.
I don't understand. Okay,
No,
all
you
right, my
can't
bad.
just put people's government name out there. But also, I've earned my stripes. That's why I keep stripes on me.
You've bought your stripes, is what it
No,
is.
I've earned them, bro. I've
Went
earned my
to
stripes.
a bunch of retail outlets and said, "Give me the stripiest shirt that I can get my hands on."
Hey, man, stripes make you look better.
Okay, if you say so, that's your style. But you've had a bit of a busy time, and that's part of the reason we ain't been recording as much. Tell everybody where you at, what you doing.
Yeah,
Well,
so
hold on, I'm sorry. What? I gotta go ahead and do this. Hey, YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, wherever you rocking with us, we appreciate you rocking with us. My bad. Go ahead.
yeah, you just kind of cut me off, threw off my whole train of thought. But yeah, I have been busy the past, I guess, 3 weeks. I just moved in here to Little Rock, I guess a week ago now. No, 6 days ago now. Just moved last Monday. That was so stressful. I didn't realize how much hard work it is to move. Also, I didn't realize I probably should have gotten a U-Haul instead of just trying to move things one at a time by car when my car not that big. That was a mistake.
I feel like somebody told you that.
Yeah, but I thought I could make it work. I made it work for the most part, but it's just moving stuff up 3 flights of stairs over and over. It ain't fun. It
I
ain't
can
fun.
imagine.
But yeah, I just moved to Little Rock, living a life, having fun. Start my job, not this coming up week, but the next week. So that'll be interesting for sure. Just ready for these new challenges life has for me.
Okay.
Oh,
Okay.
also I took the bar too. That
Yeah.
was a whole nother thing, another reason why I haven't been able to record. That last week of bar prep, it was not fun either, but I'm through it now, hopefully.
Okay. I mean,
Yeah.
what do you mean? Hopefully, I figured you got to be through it at the end. Like you already got the job, so what are they gonna do if you don't pass the bar? Just fire you?
I have no idea. No, but I think I did good on the bar. It was a lot easier than I thought it was going to be.
Okay. Can you
That
see
don't mean it
yourself
was.
on the
That
video?
don't mean it was easy though. Yeah, I can see myself.
Nah, I was make sure.
Can you see
But
yourself?
yeah, I can see myself. But the question that I have that I would like for you to explain to everybody is what happened with the fire alarm incident that
Oh
interrupted
man.
your bar experience.
So I've heard of like horror stories during the bar, but I never thought I would be one of those stories.
Okay, all right. I don't know
So
about horror stories. See, you always got to make stuff so dramatic, man.
no,
Just tell everybody what happened.
it's a horror story, bro.
That's not a
So
horror story.
first of all, we have 4 3-hour segments over spanned out over 2 days. So in our first 3-hour segment, I'm churning through all my stuff, writing, reading, and whatnot. 45 minutes, no, about 38 minutes in, fire alarm go off. I'm like, this must be a joke. We out here having a fire drill in the middle of the bar. So the woman come in there and say, hey, don't worry about it. Y'all just keep working. We're all good. So everybody a little bit discombobulated and whatnot, but everybody keep going. 3 minutes go by. She run back in the room. Everybody get up. We have to evacuate. I'm like, what? So everybody like stressing and whatnot, running downstairs. And we eventually have to just like stand outside for like 5 to 10 minutes. Firemen walking in and out with their axes and all kind of stuff, like something about to go down. And then they just sent us back in. They're like, hey, it was a false alarm. Well, actually, they didn't say anything what actually it was, but they just sent us back in. So we assumed everything was fine. I'm assuming somebody got stressed out though, and pulled a fire alarm or something.
I was just wondering, like, how would that help? Because you still got to go in and take the test. Did they take y'all's phones, or did they just say like you can't
Oh,
bring
you
them
can't
in
have
here?
a phone in the building,
Oh, well. They
but
had
they just
somebody bring
needed
your
their
phone in the
break.
parking lot.
They felt they needed a break.
That's a long way to go for a break and to not have like answers. But
Hey man,
yeah, I
I
get it.
don't know. I don't know.
But you through with that part. You start your job when? Have you already
The
started?
16th. I
Oh,
start the
okay.
16th.
So you just kicking it in the meantime.
Kinda. Still getting my place together and whatnot. That's a whole different story. I'm not like design crazy, but I'm more. I do better with interior design than you would. So I guess
Because I don't
you would
design.
say,
I don't
man,
design nothing.
you can live in a 6x6 with nothing on the wall.
Yeah, happily. If the
See,
rent was
you
low,
can't do that, bro. That's
it's
not good
cool.
for your mental health.
It's exceptional for my mental health. I don't got to look at nothing. I don't got to see nothing. It's great. All I got is I need an apparatus to play video games on, something to watch TV on, something to sleep on. I'm cool. That's it.
But that kind of bring me. What you been up to these last 2 to 3 weeks? I know we talking about video games. You just got one of your most prized possessions.
Mm-hmm. Finally dropped it. I had to drop that bread on that P5, bro. The
See,
price about to go up. I read, but the price went down right after, which hurt my feelings. But I paid the resale for it. Hurt. I mean, shoot, it was. It has paid off so far. It has definitely paid off so far.
how
I
much
love
did the price go down after you bought it?
about 50. I mean, that's not that much when you think about you getting in the $700, $800 range. It really wasn't that big a deal. But apparently, it's about to jump, and I don't hope it jumps, but I want to see it jump just so I can feel
Why is
justified
it about to jump?
because I want to feel justified in buying it when it was that high.
I'm saying, why is it about to jump?
Because the big gaming season is about to happen, and going towards Christmas, the price just generally goes up for
Mm,
stuff like that. So
that makes sense. But that ain't all you've been dabbling in these past few weeks. Go ahead and tell them about your big day where you were basically viral on Twitter. What you've been searching
it's
for.
no, it's not even remotely true. I went to media day for my team. Did all the MIAA. That's the conference. Like they asked us questions, and that's pretty much it. That was
You got your own gifts now.
I have like
Is that true?
I don't have my own. I mean, me and one of my teammates from Madison Rather were on like three or four of them, something like that.
Yeah.
I mean, that's not really all that notable, bro. We gotta get into some real heavy hitting topics for today.
Well, go ahead, man. Go ahead.
So what I wanted to ask you. So like we're both relatively competitive people, right?
Yeah.
And I saw a quote from Charles Barkley. I'm gonna try to paraphrase it. I'm not gonna try to get the exact words right, but he talked about the fact that he really didn't like or he really didn't love winning all that much. It was just a constant hate for losing that drove him to do like all that he did on a basketball court. So what I'm asking is, as a competitor, do you think that you like winning or hate losing more?
I would say it depends on what I'm competing in. If I'm playing like a one-on-one basketball
I
game or
don't think
something
it
like that,
depends for you. I really don't think it depends for you.
it does. It
I don't
does.
think it
Some things
does.
I want to be able to beat people in. I don't, and so that's the winning part. I like to take that soul out of them when I'm playing or doing something. But some things I just don't want to lose in, and that's completely different. For example, if we're doing trivia or something like that, and it's just something small like that, I don't want to win that bad. I just want to make sure I don't lose to somebody.
So I feel like you answering the question. Either way, Byron, that's either one is a I hate losing type scenario. Because if you're not
No,
really,
I just
if you're trying to like what you said, what did you say about somebody's soul?
I want to take it out of them. Yeah, that's winning.
Okay, I feel like that's contextually that's just a weird way to say that. But anyways, that either way, that's kind of an I hate the thought of losing mentality to me because if you're really just trying to crush somebody, and that's really not about like the win, that's about the the pressure that you exert on the
Mm,
other person.
I don't know, bro. Because like for example, I'm not sure if you saw all the stuff about Tyler the Creator and DJ Khaled
Yeah.
recently.
Mhm.
And so he was talking about how Khaled always wants to. His slogan is "We the best."
Mhm.
He loves to win. I don't think he hates losing more than he loves to win. He just really loves to win. He made a song called "All I Do Is Win." He loves to
Yeah.
win. I wouldn't say he's one of the type of people that hates to lose more than he loves to win. If that makes sense.
Mm,
Like the feeling of
but
him winning
Tyler's whole
is what drives him compared to the fear of him losing.
but Tyler's whole
Because
thing
that's
in the,
what it is.
but Tyler's whole thing in the interview is that he lost, not him, but I'm saying DJ Khaled lost, and that loss continually ate him up. So that, I mean, I feel like that's, you at least got to be at equilibrium there, because if you're saying all
No,
I do is win, then you really have like a vested interest to not only win but not to lose. So when you do lose, and what Tyler's point was the fact that he lost was the thing that was eating him up. If you win like repeatedly, then that's really, a win is just another win, but a loss is one that sticks out.
but see what I think when Barkley is talking about that is your drive. Where does your drive come from? Does it come from you wanting to win that bad, or does it come from you the fear of losing? Is what I see it
I
as.
don't think it's necessarily that. I think like the jubilation that you get from, there are people that are really really happy when they win, and then when they lose, it's like, it's another learning experience. I get back, I'll be better. Whatever it is, however they justify it, it's, the loss is not that big a deal, but the win is super great. Like the win is a super great thing, and I think there are people that to win is like, all right, cool, yeah, I won, but the loss is like I can't stand that, and I'm that type of person. But I'm saying like you as a human being, thinking about, oh, I don't know, trivial stuff like arguments, games of one on one. You seem to be an I hate losing person at just about every area of your life, because not only
Nope.
do you, it's something different. Like people say like he refuses to lose. Generally they're not talking about cheating or just not acknowledging the fact that the other person won, but you do both of those. So I'm thinking that you,
I don't do
yes you
no.
do.
When have I ever cheated at something? Thank you. You can't think of nothing because hey man, I'm an honest guy.
Byron,
I'm straightforward. I win. I win. If I lose, I
Byron,
lose.
I've never experienced a flagrant foul in a game of one on one in all of the time that I have been alive. Let alone like we was in the middle of spring ball at this point. Not in the middle of spring, but I mean,
No, we
no,
were
we weren't.
not.
You're right. We were in the middle of our spring workouts. We were 2 weeks away from going to the spring
Yeah.
camp, and you didn't
No,
care.
I don't know
You
about
didn't
that
care
either.
about either of our bodies. You could have hurt both of us doing that, and you didn't
The
care
the
because
money.
you just did not want to take that L, and it's okay. But you have
First
to
of
admit
all,
that
first of all, that was a common foul for one.
it was not a common foul,
Two,
Byron. We've been over this.
I fouled you before you ever even jumped, and then you tried to be Superman and power through my foul. That's not on me at that point.
Okay, was I completely and totally like in a squat position, ready to explode up? Was there a just a vested was there a vested effort to start my jump before you ever touched me? Just because,
Could you have called the foul? Could you have called the foul before you
no,
jumped? Yes or no?
no,
Yeah. Come on now, Damani. You could have called. How could you have not called the foul?
Byron. If I am in a full squat by the time you put your hand on me, the only way that I'm going to go is up, and I'm saying that that's like that. The time it takes to process the fact that there is a hand on you is not. It's not even remotely enough for me to stop that jump. If it'd be something
You were trying to
no, it'd be
win.
something
You were trying to
different.
win
It'd be
right
something
there.
different if I hadn't like just loaded myself yet, but I was fully loaded and ready to go. Pause.
Hey, Damani, that was a that was a common
No,
foul,
it's
bro.
not a common foul, but this.
But I will say this: in sports, I hate to lose. If it's things outside of sports where I'm competing in something such as, let me think, something random, even though chess is a sport like chess or something like that. I'm things I'm not. Well, I wouldn't say not that great. Things where I haven't won just all the time, like throughout my life in something. Those are the things I chase to win.
Let's see.
For example, like Warzone, like you playing video games like that, you chase that win because you want to win really bad. You don't fear losing in those situations. But if it's sports like football game, a basketball game where you've won a lot in your life, those wins don't mean as much to you. It's that loss, you're like, dang, we really lost this game. I know when I was younger, like I would say like 7 or 8, we had like 2 or 3 years in a row in basketball where we never lost. I'm just like, oh, okay, we won. And then we lose that one game, everybody's sick to their stomach. And so that's what I'm saying. Sports is different for me compared to outside, I guess, other things I'm competing in.
Okay, and this is what I'm talking about as regards to like the capacity that you have to hate losing, because I hate losing and I don't even want to lose in one on one. But if I'm going to lose in one on one, I'm not going to go out with a flagrant foul. So that's what I'm
It wasn't a
uh,
foul. It was a foul. It was not a flagrant foul.
whatever. But anyways, I'm not going to do that just because even though I do hate losing, I very much do hate losing. But you, I feel like, are on a different level because like we've talked about the way that you are in arguments, because if I see that somebody's point is superior to mine, I will relent. But you have said out your own mouth on this show
Mm-mm.
that if there is any like fleck of rightness in anything that you have said, that
Yeah.
you're not going to concede. And I'm saying that's a hate losing thing. That is a hate losing thing.
No, I just want to win. I want
No,
to win.
that's a hate losing thing because you just won't accept the
Uh,
fact that you're so like just wrapped up in the competition element of an argument that you will not accept, like, not even necessarily defeat, but just a superior point.
It's a mental exercise, man. Everything is. So if they say something wrong, why can't I talk about what they did wrong?
If you
I'm just supposed to say, oh, they had 95% right, but I'm not going to talk about the 5% wrong. No,
no, but I'm
we getting at that 5%.
okay, and that's probably that situates you well for where you at lawyerly. But I'm just saying, like, from a just a talking standpoint, like if you have figured out that there's a better perspective that has emerged, why wouldn't you just go with it and say, you know what, you're right? You can still say to the 5% that you have some disagreement there, but I mean, I can acknowledge the fact that another person had a point that I didn't think about.
Honestly, if they have that 5% in there, I'm completely blocking out the 95%. I'm keying.
See,
Only
that's
thing I
what I'm talking
realize,
about, though. Like, you making my point for me.
like I don't even hear the other 95%. If I see something in there is wrong, I'm just like, oh, everything they saying must be wrong.
And that's kind of what I'm talking about, B. It don't
Yeah.
make no sense. That's that's like, I feel like where I'm at is overly competitive, and you're like in a different stratosphere, and it's not like a good type of, like, I don't know, Tom Brady competitive. Like, I feel like this is like prison mentality competitive that you have, and it's weird.
Survival. It's for
No,
survival,
but
man.
I'm saying not everything is for survival though. So if you're treating everything like a life or death situation, then you're doing too much.
I don't treat everything like life or death. I told you in some situations I want to win. Some situations I don't want to lose.
Byron, you pulled me out of the air on a layup.
Damani, I'm not
It
even
was
that strong.
it was 4 people on the court, bro. Two of which were
Damani, I'm
recording
not
and
even that
laughing
strong.
hysterically as soon as I got to the ground.
Nobody even thought it was a
Okay.
hard foul
All
until you
right.
left.
So when Colin and Dion started laughing when I like,
They just thought it was
okay,
funny.
they thought it was funny that I hit the ground and you hit the ground as well, trying to get me there. So that's
They laughed at your reaction to the
no. They started
situation.
laughing.
If you just gotten back up and taken the ball, everything would have been good. Nobody would have laughed.
All right. Like I said, I'm gonna get off that. But when I figured out that I was like, it was too much, so we got a connected franchise on Madden, right?
Mm-hmm.
In these two leagues, I have gone. Trying to think how many years. Oh, shout out to Nick. Appreciate you for adding me. So it's the league that I'm in with Nick Thomas Smith. I have gone probably in between both leagues. I've gone 5 seasons with 4 Super Bowl wins and I think 1 loss to Nick. And
Mm.
in one of the Super Bowls, I lost 35-31 on like one of the last plays of the game. And I thought about it for 2 days, bro. Like, I really did. Like, I thought about the fact that I lost that game for 2 days. We're not playing for money. No, I thought about the fact that, like, on third and goal with 20 seconds left. I let dude run into the end zone, and I lost that game. And we're like I said, this is the most trivial like situation that you can have. And I've already won 4 Super Bowls, but it's just ingrained in me that when I lose, it just eats at me, and I hate it. Like I hate it. I wish I could turn it off. Like just the trivial stuff. Obviously, I want to be like engineered towards winning and other stuff, but I hate losing. I hate it with a passion.
So when you win, how do you
It
feel
really
though?
doesn't feel that good, bro. Like I feel like something in me is broke. Like winning is not that big a deal to me. Like it's very few of my like the game winning shots, and when I say shots, it's only plural because it's two. That I've
When have you hit a game winning shot in your life?
I can tell you.
I'm not talking about no pickup games.
I can literally I can give you all of the details. I can tell you what play we ran. I can tell you what gym we were in. I can tell you everybody
Wait,
that was
wait,
on the
wait,
court. I can tell
wait,
you
wait,
every
wait, wait,
detail.
wait.
Everyone, everyone.
Damani, why were they running a game winning shot play for
I
you?
was like that, bro. Like you really don't understand, and I want you to understand. But I'm not going. I'm not going to beat a dead horse. I tried to tell y'all over and over again that I was.
Damani, that team must have been trash. They running game winning
I
shots for
mean,
you.
if you say so, if that's how it's got to work in your mind. But I mean, they ran it for me and I hit it.
That's like running a game winning shot for Udonis Haslam on the Heat when the big three were
Okay,
there.
well, let's see. On that team, there was Dre wasn't there yet, so there was one person who is currently in the National Football League, another person who is currently playing
Just tell me the
college
starting five.
basketball
Tell me the
for
starting five.
University of Minnesota. Shout out to P. Shout out to CJ too. But I was out there, and actually, I hit it over another future college football player who was a year older than me at the time. So
So
yeah,
I got a question, Damani. Was the play
the
for
play
you
was
or it was like a
the play
Steve
was
Kerr play?
specifically for me.
Fire that coach right now. I don't know who he is. He needs to
Nah,
be
he actually
fired.
got promoted. He's one of the coaches at the high school now. We was in junior high.
He need to be fired.
Coach Rose knew what he was doing. Shout out to Coach Rose. Matter of fact, I'm gonna have to send this episode to him because we
So
ran
Damani,
fist strong. Peyton took the ball up
how
top.
do you?
I'm telling you, I remember all the details. I remember every last detail, and I hit a hook shot to win the game.
Yeah.
Well, there was still like 5 seconds left. But
Who'd you do a hook shot on? The dude must have been five
no, the
seven.
the thing is, you know him. You know him. Like you played with him. You played with him in college. I
Ain't no
I
way, buddy.
promise. He didn't even shake my hand after the game.
Ain't no. Who
I
was
don't want to say. I don't want to say no names, but he tall though.
it? See, bro, this ain't
I
adding up, bro.
I'm
You out here acting. Your stuff sound like some mythical stuff, like
I
Will Chamberlain's. Oh, your little basketball
I
story. You hitting
wish I
game-winning
wish
shots,
I
40
wish
points in a
I wish
game.
somebody
This don't
else
make
remembered it
sense.
to the same extent that I did. But there's little pockets of like good stuff that I did that I remember. Like I said, there was on that team there was a bunch of good people, and then a year later on the next team there was those two, and then another guy who was playing professional football, my guy Dre, and who else? Trying to think of anybody else. Just a bunch of guys that were probably better athletes than me. Out of our starting five, I was probably the fourth or fifth best athlete out there. But I mean, I
Mm,
had the high point total for the year.
I don't even
Okay.
believe that. I don't
All
even
right.
believe that you were the fourth best
Okay.
athlete there.
Well, I mean, if me and Garrett were to do an Olympics in 12th grade, I don't know what the results would have been, but I think I was close with him. I would say that Peyton was a better athlete than me. I would say that KK was a better athlete than me, and I would say that CJ was a better athlete than me. So that's 3 out of the 5 that are definite yeses, and I'm saying Garrett is a maybe. So fourth or fifth, but I mean, I had the high point total for the year. I scored 28 against Salem Springs, and I remember that.
I
That's
don't believe
fine.
that.
You don't have
I
to,
don't.
Byron. You really don't have to.
They got a
I still
newspaper
have the
clipping on it.
newspaper clipping at the house.
I
Mm-hmm.
bet you do. But also, I got another question about you being wrong and
Who's wrong?
losing. Weren't you wrong
I
about the
was wrong
NBA
about the
Finals?
finals. I will give you that.
And who was right? Who
You
was
and
right?
my father, but I was right about every other stage of the
And how
playoffs.
many
You did
games
say
did I
Bucks and
say?
six. Both of y'all said Bucks and six. But I was wrong. I was right about every other stage of the playoffs, though. Like everything else, I was right about. The only thing I got wrong was the finals.
You're only as good as your last game.
As you're only as good as your last prediction. That's not how that works, bro. The
That
people
is.
that work in Vegas, actually, if they're statistically right more often than they are wrong, then that's a big thing for them. It's not that it's not like I say the same principle that applies to sports figures.
I started a new season. I started a new season for the
I don't
finals, and
care.
I was
I'm
right.
telling you, like the statistics say that if we were just asking somebody to make the predictions, I'd be better off than you would. But you got the finals right, and I'm fine with that.
Yeah, that's the big money. That's the
Yeah,
big money
whatever.
game. But you already know what's next. I'm gonna let you go ahead and segue into it.
Well, this is an interesting one for you, because we have talked about your inability to, or unwillingness rather, to compromise, amend yourself. So, what I wanted to ask today is, in a in a relational context, how much change is enough in terms of compromise, and is there a level that's too much?
I'm gonna answer the second question. Yes, there is
Okay,
always
all
too
right.
much
Well,
change.
that's just so
So
typical of you to answer the second question and for that to be your answer. That's really typical of you.
wait,
You
wait, wait,
painting
wait, wait,
yourself into
wait.
a corner right here.
There can't.
Go ahead.
No, there can be too much change because at the end of the day, you can't lose who you are in a
I
relationship
agree.
or anywhere in life. You have to be able to find yourself. You have to know who you are. And if you're just being a little bit too flexible and changing too much, guess what? You're no longer yourself, and eventually you will break. You will bend too much into where you will just crumble and break down. You will you'll lose yourself, as Eminem would say.
Stop.
But
Stop, bro.
yeah, you can bend too much, and so you just have to know that point of. Well, I guess you really don't know that point until you get to that point. So be wary. Don't draw. Make sure you have your boundaries and like, okay, some things I'm not changing, some things I will change, but you should change some to an extent.
Okay. So what does too much change look like? So like give me an
What
example.
is
So I'm
too
saying
much?
like there's obviously a level that's like compromise, but if somebody is just totally capitulating to who their significant other wants them to be, what does that look like?
Where you don't even do where you don't even do the things you enjoy anymore.
What if you still
Where you're
what if
not
you still doing
happy.
the things that you enjoy, but you're just doing stuff that's like I don't know that just contradicts who you are as a person? Would that fall in the same category?
Sure. Okay. When you start to feel that, you start contradicting yourself, you'll start feeling that resentment inside. Once you start feeling a whole bunch of, well, not a whole bunch, but when you start feeling more and more resentment, you getting close to that breaking point.
Mm,
If you're doing things that you resent a lot, I think that's where that line between change and I forgot what we were
compromise.
talking about. Compromise comes in. Yeah. When you start, it's when resentment falls in place. That's the line.
Mm. So there's
I just
so
came
there's
up with that
no
on the
like
spot too.
specific level of change that is like too much or too little. It just depends on the person and if they feel that they're like
Yeah.
compromising themselves in this change. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
all right. Well, that's good. I feel like that's a good way
What's
to
your
think
take
about
on
it.
it?
I feel like
No, you got to come up. You got to come up with your own. You
I
can't use
gave you
mine.
yours. I
Can't use
literally
mine.
asked about a specific scenario, and you were like, "Yeah, that counts."
Yeah, because then that's when I brought in
No,
resentment.
but I brought the point in, and then you tried to like include resentment in that. But my point's already included in what you said. You can't just take my point and act like it was yours.
That wasn't your point. That was devil. That was the
No,
devil's
that's not
advocate
how that
point.
works. But anyways, I feel like it just regarding too much, and we can talk about like acceptable levels after this. I feel like too much is when there is like a level of like self. No, that's not the right word. No, I do not.
Yeah, you don't
I'm
know.
trying to find a better way to say it than that. But I feel like when you don't necessarily feel like your full self, like in terms of needs, is being met, and you're meeting the other person's needs, I feel like that's the level where it's too much. Because obviously there's some level of compromise in a relationship where you have to be able to meet like your partner's expectations to an extent and your expectations of yourself. But when you are completely and totally invested in that partner's expectations and you let your own expectations go by the wayside, I feel like that's a good way to gauge like the level that's too much.
But don't a lot of people do that?
I don't know, man. I've seen it happen a time or two.
Because okay, also within that, what if your expectations are unrealistic?
Okay,
Then how do
you gotta give an
function with
example. So
that?
what if the expect it? I think that there are sometimes that the expectations are realistic, but people act like they're unrealistic. So give me an example of an unrealistic expectation.
Okay, she don't want you hanging out with your boys no more.
Just
Like she don't want you talking to them or nothing. Like you can't have no friends but her. And to her, she just saying she wants you to be totally
oh
invested
yeah,
in
that's
her,
way too much. That's
and
way
that's
too
her
much.
expectation. That's what I'm saying. That's an unrealistic. Like she don't want you to have no other friends but her.
Okay, so if she's just saying like you hang out with them too much, um, you need to spend more time here, then is there a level of that that's acceptable?
Sure. Yeah, because I can understand. Like, okay, you out there every single day. As soon as you get off work, you go and hang out with the boys at so and so place. Okay, yeah, that can get old
Okay, okay,
eventually.
but it's
Or you playing the game too? Ah, nah, nope, never mind. No,
um,
that
that's
one. Can't get mad at somebody playing the
yeah,
game.
I actually agree with that, ladies. I gotta stand on my soapbox here for a second. That game is just it's a beautiful way for us to not only escape but to just find solace in our own company and in the company of other people online. If you ain't been there, you
No.
ain't gonna understand it. That's male or female. If that ain't your thing, that ain't your thing. But hey, if it is, that's beautiful.
Mm.
That is 100% beautiful. And to anybody that tries to stand in the way of that beauty, he or she does not really love you. And I stand by that.
Mm.
I scream that from the mountaintop.
It's an easy way to
Mm-hmm.
cope with everyday life. Because if you think about it, if somebody playing the game, what problems can you have?
You get shot up.
They not out here in the streets. They might get shot
Yeah.
up, but only in a video
All of
game.
your problems are virtual.
And,
That's it.
yeah, you turn off the Wi-Fi, they
Mm-hmm.
can't play no more. When you turn off the Wi-Fi, it might be some. So yeah, don't do that though. But yeah.
Oh yeah, we got off topic.
But what were you saying?
So all right, we talked about too much. So what level of compromise? And this is a great question for you. What level of compromise is acceptable? Like, what level should you be aiming for in terms of compromising for one's partner?
See, I try to compromise in everything.
Like, come on, bro. Come on, come on.
What you
Mm-mm.
mean?
150 miles
What you
away, and I can
mean?
feel the cap from here. Stop it. Nope.
But
Mm-mm.
yeah, what is?
Nope.
I don't know
Just go ahead and
because
walk that last statement back. Just go ahead and walk that
I
last
feel
statement back. Because you don't try.
I
No.
feel I'm pretty straightforward.
But you
I
don't
feel
try
I'm
to
pretty
compromise
straightforward.
in really anything. Like you compromise at times when you have to, but those are really like times that you have to be like pushed, prodded, and like just dragged there. But
Yeah,
that's not
what's wrong
trying
with
to
that?
compromise. That's literally trying not to compromise and capitulating at times.
No, no, because you can't compromise on everything. Because sometimes you be right. When in situations where you are right,
But
why
if
are you
everything is
compromising?
not black and white and there's some gray area there and there's a bunch of stuff that's really like not 100% gray area based, but it's just like heavily gray area. So if there's not necessarily a right or wrong, like if somebody feeling something, right? Like if somebody feels some type of way about the stuff that you're doing, regardless of what it is, if it's not like integral to who you are, like if somebody feel some type of way about like how you vote, then that's something different. But I'm saying like if
Everything is, but I hold everything like that,
so everything
that tight to
everything
me,
is
that
important as how
close
you
to me.
vote. That's stupid.
A lot of things are.
That's so stupid.
A lot of things are, bro. Because I am who I am.
That's a
Is how I think
stupid
of
way
it.
to think about it. In terms of
What do
like
you mean? How?
compromise, Byron, that's a horrible way to think about it. Because if everything is
Because,
I
okay, this
am who
okay,
I am, then you never gonna compromise.
but I do
When you are
compromise.
pushed, prodded, and dragged there, that's what I'm saying. No,
When I'm
but
wrong, I compromise because this is how I think of it. If I work, let's say 13 hours a day, well, if I work for 13 hours and I'm supposed to make $10 an hour, okay, I'm supposed to have
mhm.
$130, correct? Now, if we get into a debate about how much money I'm supposed to make from that, and you saying, no, you supposed to get $15. Why would I move? I know I work 13 hours. No, 10 hours. Yeah, 10 hours. Why would I compromise on that? I know I'm right. It's no reason to
And
compromise.
okay, and
That's
you
all I'm
realize
saying.
that that's probably the worst possible example when we're talking about compromise, because generally compromise comes from a gray area type situation, some type of not.
People try to compromise in everything
Okay, give
nowadays,
me an
though.
example. Give me a real life example that kind of fits with what you said about the. It don't have to be one. Just give me a real life example that kind of fits with your $10 an hour scenario.
Hmm.
No, you're not gonna
Give me
think
give
of
me a
one.
second. Let me think.
There's
Let
a
me think.
hundred. There's 100 of them that come from like gray area situations, but you're not gonna think of one that's that straightforward where people are trying to compromise on something that's that black and white. Yeah, because there aren't
Can't think
any.
of nothing, man.
Most most of the stuff
I don't know,
be
man.
like, I feel this way about you doing this. I wish that, instead of doing this in this situation, we could do this, or you would do this, so I could do whatever. Most of the situation be stuff like that.
Yeah.
So in terms of compromising, see, you already shaking your head, bro.
Yeah, because what if okay, someone get upset with me about how I did something
Yeah,
and they got upset about what I did. But what I did was completely right. Like I didn't do anything wrong, but they just felt wrong
yeah,
about it. There's supposed
yes.
to be a compromise involved?
Because people have different motivations for doing stuff. People take things different ways. One of the things that I learned as a communication major is that
Nope.
there's two parts. There's two parts to a message.
Oh,
There's a
here we go.
sender and a receiver. So when you send that message, just because you sent it and intended it in a certain way does not mean it was received in that same way. And that goes the same way with acts. So what you're doing, though you might intend it and it might be quote unquote right, it made another person feel some type of way. So is there some way to compromise where I can still be who I am and like satisfy or
So you want me to change the message that I'm
pretty
sending?
much, yeah, yeah, pretty
Change how I
much.
send the message?
Let's see,
Nope.
that's a really
Nope.
why
For what? For what? Yeah, I just don't get it. I don't get it, man. I don't get it. I change, but yeah, I change. I don't change who I am. I do compromise in situations
you're contradicting
unless I
yourself
feel I'm
with the
right.
way that you're trying to like explain how you go about things, because you're saying that,
In situations that I'm right,
but
but you
rightness
just you
is
make
like,
more things gray than I make things gray. I make a lot of stuff
but that is that me
straightforward.
doing that, or is that like life that says that there is some gray area here, and you'd be like, nope, black and white.
Y'all
Oh, okay,
overcomplicate
all
life
right. So
sometimes, man.
that's what I'm doing is overcomplicating life. There's
Yeah.
a bunch of gray. It's just specifically we can stay on feeling because that's the easiest realm for us to talk about. So in feeling, Will you acknowledge at least that there's a whole bunch of gray area there? Oh my god.
To an extent. Because, yeah, people feel certain ways about certain things, but I can't control how you feel
It's not
for the
necessarily
most part.
about controlling how you feel. It's about being like just cognizant of how people's feelings are and trying to best accommodate like the other person's needs alongside your own. So if you're just saying that I intended it
Yeah.
this way, I'm doing it this way because I feel like it's the best way to do it, then you're not accounting for the feelings of the other person. So how do you live like that?
But I'm saying, okay, if I inform you I didn't mean it that way, this is how I meant it. And that's how I always mean it. I don't get what's the use of a compromise. If you understand it's not supposed to be taken that way,
Because
why
if
do I
I
have to
have
change
a
it?
certain feeling about it, then why can't the message be changed as opposed to me having to completely enter?
Because the message don't need to be changed. If you're upset about
Mm-hmm.
how it comes off, but you then understand why it comes off that way and it's not supposed to be in a way that's supposed to disrespect you or anything like that. Why do I need to
Because
change it?
like I said, there are two sides to it. So I can't necessarily, if it's something that is like a part of me, to say that like it I huh?
But your language is,
What do you
which your
mean?
language is, or like your slang and things like that, like how you talk and things like that, that is a part of you.
No, see, I was going someplace else. I'll say it a different way. So if it's something that, let's say it's something that somebody finds offensive, like say you got a nickname for somebody that they don't really like, then we actually talked about this. So that's you're communicating something in one way, and it's not being received in the way that you intended. Do you continue to say, no, it's that's not the way I meant it, or can you just change the message? Oh my
But some messages don't need to be changed, is what I'm saying.
god.
Because I'm what I'm saying is it's not offensive. It's just you don't like it. And if you just don't like it based on some perception that you have of how it's said, I can't do much about that. That's how I'm thinking. But if it's something that is offensive, okay, then there is room for change and compromise. Because you shouldn't be offending people
Okay,
for no
and
reason.
I'll bring it to a different context. Say you and a person have a different view of what quality time is, and I know that this is completely and totally hypothetical. It's not like we talked about it, and your definition of quality time was the worst that I've ever heard
Yeah,
of anybody that has ever stepped on Earth. But in everybody's
in your
opinion, I
opinion.
don't even remember who we had on, but yeah, it was everybody's opinion. It sucked. So when we, I was Bree, shout out to BC. So when we have a conception of something like quality time that says, I feel like it's quality time when we do this, and other person has a conception of quality time and says, no, I don't really feel like that's quality time. Do you just continue in that same quality time space with both of y'all disagreeing and you doing what you want to do and the other person feeling like, they're getting the short end of the stick? Or do you find a way to compromise on that?
You compromise.
Okay. So, one, I feel like you capping. Two, does that not make my point? Does that not make my point about the fact that like the gray area part of stuff is
In that situation, it would be great.
so if you're saying
I'm talking about in straightforward situation. Right, wrong, no
but the
compromise.
way
Gray, compromise. But how you define gray
but I'm
may be
saying that
different
your
than how I
definition
define gray.
of gray area is just so narrow and ridiculous that it just doesn't make any sense because I'm saying most of the time there is at least some gray area where there's something to be given, but it just don't seem like you give at all. Yeah.
I do. But okay, Damani. Also, we may have to compromise on this here. Because this may be considered a gray area in your plan, but with me, I can go all day with it. Because I just don't agree that majority of conversations and life situations are gray. Well, actually, nah, most of my stuff is straightforward.
Just straightforward nuts. That's
Yeah.
all it is. But I mean, no, I'm definitely not gonna argue with you all day about that.
But I do think that people need to know the difference between change and compromise, because you can change to a certain extent, but if you start taking that too far, I mean, you can compromise to a certain extent, but if you take it too far, that results in changing in who you are. Sometimes it may be for the better, though, because some people, they need that change. And that's why the significant other is there. Problem is, you don't know whether you need that change or not, you know?
So, what,
And then that's a
all right,
whole different issue.
last question. What do you think about people going into relationships thinking that they can change the other person?
Nah, don't do that. Everybody, you go in there trying to change another person from the jump, you're going to be sad, because that person that you think you can change, it's going to be tough to change them, for one. Because people don't just change like that,
What if they just
for
see
the most
something
part.
in them? You know,
And if you
they
go in
see
trying,
a deeper being that they just feel like they got to pull out.
sometimes it works. I would say 3% of the time it works. 97% of the time it's not going to work. Both of y'all going to leave the relationship upset or hate each other. Just that, it ain't no reason for all that. Because you try to change, that's like changing somebody's heart. At the end of the day, it's hard to change somebody's heart. It's real hard. And if you trying to do that just so that this person looks the way you want, but they don't have like the mental behind it, it's not going to work for you. It's not.
No, I mean, I echo what
What's
you
your
said.
thoughts on it?
You pretty much covered it, man. That is it's the best way to think about it. But I'm glad we got a. Go ahead.
And I would say
Uh-oh.
women do try to do this
Uh-oh.
more than men, though.
I didn't say all that, man.
They see this one guy like, oh, he got everything. He just actually, no, men do it just the same. No, they don't. Women do it more, in my
It's a
opinion.
hot take if I've ever heard one. I don't know what he's talking about, ladies.
Women
That
do
don't
it more.
sound like y'all to me, but hey, some guys just get this image in their head.
Damani, you've had friends that are girls that have tried to change men that you know of.
I don't know who you talking about.
So
I
we
ain't never
really
seen
doing
that
this right
before in
now?
my life. I saw it on movies and stuff, but no, I don't think they do that. I don't know what you're talking about.
Okay.
But that's more than enough for our first virtual episode. We appreciate y'all rocking with us, man. We're gonna take probably another little hiatus. I'm about to start this football camp, so I'm about to be down out in the heat for the next 3-4 weeks. And he got a new job to start, as he just told y'all. So probably be a little minute before this next episode come out. But we appreciate y'all, and we're glad we was able to get this one out. Byron, you got anything left for the people?
Yep. I appreciate y'all. Keep listening. Also, during this time, please catch up on the other episodes. And also during this time, comment. Let us know what else you want to hear about. As you know, we're about to move into fall season, which is typically known as cuffing season. So we may have some hot takes
Byron
about that for
definitely got
y'all
some
coming
hot
soon.
takes about that. I don't. I ain't got nothing. But shoot, I got Show Thief finna play us out. Go stream his new single, Rich, Greater Than, Famous. Go look it up. You will not be disappointed. I know I wasn't. He's doing his thing. But yeah, that's about all we got for y'all, man. That'd be easy. Peace.
When that pressure get applied, is you gon' pass or you gon' shoot? I stood tall. When you make it through the struggle and the pain, do you get your umbrella off the chance that it might rain? I stood tall. Ooh, I stood tall. Ooh, I stood tall. Ooh, you could try to count me out, but you ain't gon' ever hold me down. When I see my people going through it, I put the blame on me. And I see my homie lose his mind, but I gave him his first taste of lean. I ain't gon' lie, that really hurt me, but I had to close the curtains. And one thing I learned on Lion King is everybody gotta eat. Never tell a party, let me get a whole piece. And nah, little homie, can't get that from me. You play football, you got a bright future, you supposed to see you on the TV. And I said, that's true, and I'm gon' do it, but I really gotta make something happen. And I probably could've asked my family for something, but instead I started hitting licks with daddy. I ain't gon' lie, that turned me to a savage. Really living life like a bandit. And then Murph told me, keep your head on, man, don't do nothing reckless. But now I'm older now, I'm a grown man. Go to church every Sunday, I'm a praying man. You ain't gonna never see me fall, I'm always standing. One thing I do is stick to the plan.